Welcome back to the Tourism Hub podcast, the place to be where we celebrate the stories, strategies, and successes of tourism and small business leaders across the globe. I'm your host, Despina Karatzias, and I'm thrilled to have you here today. Whether you're tuning in from your morning walk, your daily commute, or that precious moment of quiet in your day as you kick into gear, thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. Now today we're diving into a topic that is foundational to business, yet often misunderstood. Networking. And not just any kind of networking, purposeful, intentional, and strategic stuff of networking dreams. The kind that helps you connect with the right people at the right time in the right way. When I started my career in tourism, there was no formal training, no university unit, and not even a single conversation that prepared me for the one thing that would become the most powerful thing to drive growth in my everything, my career and my business, my network. It is the difference by far that made all the difference, not just to my career, but to my entire business that followed. Recently, I had the greatest honor of speaking at our local government event, the City of Monash and Eastern Innovation Business Centre, my home away from home, surrounded by a powerhouse group of women entrepreneurs at different stages of their business journey. Together with my wonderful panelists and co-program facilitators, Jill and Tina, I shared a simple yet powerful framework that has shaped the way I approach networking. A framework I affectionately call NET, N-E-T, that I will unpack with you in this episode. So settle in and let's get into it on how you can cast your net with purpose and intention. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and you just know something incredible is about to happen. That is the vibe at this recent event. It was a room filled with ambitious, driven women, all ready to take their business to that next level. We all know we have within us. There's always the level we're on, and there's always that next level. As I mentioned earlier, I did have the privilege of sharing the stage as a panelist and share and speak deeper on something that has completely transformed my business and my life, to be honest with you. Now, when it comes to the power of networking, what I want to really just put a bit of laser focus on is not just any kind of networking, but look at purposeful, intentional, and to a point, strategic networking. It's the simple framework that I shared with the group that's a way to take the overwhelm out of networking and almost to a point take the loneliness out of networking. Because in my experience, particularly in the earlier days of my career and then definitely in the earlier days of my business, it was different. There's nothing like the feeling of being out on your own, networking to a group of people that may recognize you for doing something different previously, particularly when you step out in starting a business. So I hope this can be helpful, and I can talk about that for days because that's certainly something that I shared with the room, just that feeling that I will never, ever, that will never leave me of starting my business, and that first day in my business where I'm no longer an employee of and have that big oak tree above my head of security, then the day, that fateful day of 1 July 2014, almost 11 years ago. And just how much, when I think about that difference in the journey and to stay in business 11 years on, I would have to put networking and my networks and my relationships. That's the words and one of the tools and strategies that I would skywrite that attributed to any level of staying in business. Now, did you know that the term networking originally had nothing to do with business cards or LinkedIn connections or anything to do with business? Back in the 1500s, it was all about fishing nets. Imagine ropes woven together, each knot representing a connection. I know. Over time, that simple fishing net became a metaphor for social and professional relationships. The strength of your network isn't about one single rope. It's about how those ropes interconnect and support each other. Don't you just love that? Cast the net wisely and widely, and your net won't just catch fish, it'll catch opportunities, ideas, and collaborations. And that's exactly what I shared on this beautiful evening, and what I wanted to convey and share with you on this episode. Networking isn't about collecting names and cards and followers and, connections on the social media platforms. It's about weaving meaningful connections, knot by knot, and casting that net with intention. So how do you do this? How do you cast that net with intention? Enter stage left, net. N-E-T, net is what I'm going with. A simple, memorable framework that distills everything I've personally learned about networking into 3 powerful steps. Now, when I was preparing for my talk at Monash, and to give you context, during this evening with the City of Monash and Eastern Innovation Business Centre and our incredible sponsors, we launched an empowering entrepreneurial program specifically catered to women in business. Now, for my presentation for this launch event, I knew I wanted to give these women something they could remember and apply, not just that day, but every day in business. Now, that's how NET was born. So it's not something that exists elsewhere. It is something that I put a lot of thought into, that for, this program that we are launching, is currently open, and I'll put those details in the show notes, is only open for 15 female-led business owners. But I wanted to, the 100 plus that were there that evening, something that they can take away and put it into gear, just like in the intention with this, sharing it with you, that you can apply the same in your business and career. And really, that's how NET was born. And here's how it works, starting with N for narrowing your focus. Imagine you're at a networking event and a room full of people. The temptation is to work the room, collect as many business cards and make those connections as much and as wide as possible. And so you feel like you've networked. But here's the thing, networking isn't a numbers game. It's a strategy. And the first step in that strategy is to narrow your focus. Ask yourself, who are the key people in this room who can genuinely add value to my journey and whose mission aligns with mine, that I can too add value to theirs? Where are the possibilities? Who is speaking? Who is attending? Identify them in advance. Research, make a plan. At the Monash event, I wasn't there to work the room. I was there to tune into the energy of the humans, and in this case, the women that filled it. Before I even knew what someone's business was all about, I was drawn to those whose vibe resonated with mine. energy is what fuels me. People who sparked curiosity and radiated passion, it came from their demeanor before they opened their mouth. And that's something I want you to think about when you show up and how you show up. And that's how you can turn chance encounters into intentional connections. As Tim Ferriss said, if you can't explain, now Tim Ferriss, for context, he was the author of the 4-Hour Work Week, huge entrepreneur. And one of the things that Tim Ferriss has shared is if you can't explain your position in 8 words or less, you don't have a position. The same goes for networking and why it's important and why you need and must and make a decision to show up. If you can't clearly define why you are there, the kind of energy you're drawn to, and why you're not, and more importantly, why you're just traversing the land of networking events, collecting contacts, and not strategically building connections. Okay, so you've made the deep connection. What's next? N is for narrow your focus. E is for engaging digitally. This is where most people, including I, yours truly, have dropped the ball in the past. The event is over, the business cards are stuffed in your bag, and the opportunity is let to slip away through your fingers. Not you. This is where you engage digitally. Think of it as the follow-up handshake, a quick LinkedIn message, a thoughtful email, or even a voice note. Be different. It's about staying top of mind, but not just saying, great to meet you. Be specific, referencing something you discussed, share a relevant resource, or ask a follow-up question. Michelle Janae, she wrote the book called The Connect Worker, The Heart and Art of Connecting, where she delves into the art of networking beyond business cards and elevator pitches. Her philosophy emphasizes this true concept of not network. Her philosophy emphasizes this true nature and concept of networking, not just being about meeting people. It's about creating meaningful connections that bridge people, that bridge ideas and opportunities. And in her words, networking is not about just connecting people. It's about connecting people with ideas, and people with opportunities, perfectly capturing the essence of this topic. And when you can't get in the room physically, that's when the real power of digital networking comes into play and engaging digitally. This is what I affectionately call smart collaborations. It's about being intentional with your online presence, using platforms like LinkedIn, not just to connect, but to cultivate your online voice, your brand, amplify your expertise, to engage and connect and thank and keep those conversations and connections alive. Because in today's world, your online reputation is just as powerful, if not maybe more powerful, than your business card. Okay, so we've covered N for narrowing your focus, E for engaging digitally, and we now come to T, trade value first, the golden rule. Trade value before anything else. Networking isn't about what you can get, just like any type of collaboration or partnership or package in this wonderful industry. Networking is not about what you can get, it's about what you can give. Think of your network as a bank account. You can't withdraw without depositing first. Share a resource, introduce someone to a valuable contact, or tag them in a post they might find useful. At the Monash event, I didn't just talk about what I do, I asked and listened far more than I talked. Now, this is something that doesn't come naturally, and it didn't in my early parts. It's an intentional learned skill. Be more interested in hearing the voice of the person that's in front of you than your own. So whether it was connecting someone to a podcast guest or recommending another local resource or another local event, I led with adding value and listening. And that's the key. When we are leading with generosity, we're leading and building those authentic, lasting connections. As Zig Ziglar, said, Zig Ziglar, what a cool name. He said one of my all-time favorite things. You can have everything in life that you want if you will just help other people get what they want. And speaking of quotes now, let's talk about the classic networking quote. You can't get more classic than this. Your network is your net worth. We hear it so often, but what does it really mean? It's not about how many people you know, it's about how many people would show up for you, speak your name in a room full of opportunities, or open a door when you need it most. And here's another one. The richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. That's by Robert Kiyosaki, another classic business book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There's been a few book mentions, hasn't there? Maybe a book review would be a good podcast. Anyhow, let's stay on track because we need to get one thing straight. Networking isn't about being the loudest person in the room or the most extroverted. As Susan Cain, the author of Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking, she says everyone shines given the right lighting. So whether you're an introvert, extrovert, or somewhere in between, building a network is all about authenticity, not charisma. It's not about being the life of the party. It's about being the kind of person people want to stay connected with. Every connection is a thread, and every thread strengthens the net. And whether you thrive in a crowded room or you're someone that prefers the one-on-one conversation, your network can be as powerful as you make it if you're intentional. And there you go. That's the next strategy. Narrow your focus, engage digitally, and always trade value first. Whether you're at a business event, a community gathering, or even your favorite coffee shop, it's not about collecting contacts, it's about creating connections. So if today's episode resonated with you, hit subscribe, leave a review. It matters so much to this work and showing up. Share it with someone who could use a little nudge in their networking A game. And as always, ignite excellence in yourself and in those around you. Stay connected, stay intentional, and keep building those powerful, purposeful networks. Until next time, my dear friends, go out there, be better, and do better today than you did yesterday.